Updating you on today's information. One housekeeping rule, please. When this is concluded, if you are going to be interviewing people other than law enforcement, please take those interviews outside to in front of our building. Okay? Thank you very much. Sheriff Couch.
Well, good morning. Thank you all for being here. Normally when I step up at the podium, sometimes as sheriff I have bad news to report, but that's not the case today. Actually, I come to you with some very great news. Maria Gomez Perez has been safe in Dover, Ohio, and she should be on her way home here to Gainesville with our investigators within the hour. Most of you in this room have been following Maria's case since she was first reported missing in late May, so I won't go through a detailed timeline of every nuance of our investigation. But I will say this, the last 8 weeks have been grueling for those on our investigative team. I want to thank them for their dedication and for putting their hearts and souls into bringing Maria back to our community. Since we are still in the process of interviewing Maria about the specifics of the last 8 weeks, we will not be able to share all details about her disappearance, but we will tell you what we can when we get that information. Maria was found yesterday in the company of a 31-year-old man, Antonio Augustin. He's a Guatemalan native, and he'd been living in northeastern Ohio. We believe Maria had been communicating for a time with Mr. Augustin via Facebook Messenger and some other online apps. Maria had indicated that she was unhappy and she wanted to leave home. We also know that she had been communicating with some other adult males online, telling them the same thing. Now, that being said, let me be very clear on this. Maria is the victim in this case, and remember, she's 12 years old. So our investigation has determined that Mr. Augustin drove from his home in Ohio to Gainesville and picked up Maria on Wednesday, May the 29th. They traveled back to Ohio that same day, and to our knowledge have been there ever since. The break in the case came last week when Maria contacted her father via Facebook Messenger. She had created a new Facebook page so she could reach out to him to tell him that she was okay and that she was not coming home. And she also asked him to stop looking for her. Mr. Gomez Alonzo told our investigators about the message, and members of our Special Investigations Unit obtained the IP address of the Facebook page and were able to find the phone number associated with that account. They were able to track the phone to a residence back in Dover, Ohio. And believing that this information was a credible lead to Maria's location, we sent 4 investigators from our Criminal Investigations Bureau to Dover this week. They were able to track the phone to the Dover City swimming pool, where they made visual contact with Maria and Mr. Augustin. When the two got into a vehicle and traveled to a nearby shopping center parking lot, our agents, along with members of the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office, followed them. They recovered Maria at the scene, and Mr. Augustin was arrested. Maria was taken to a local hospital for a wellness check, and as I said a moment ago, she will be coming back home here to Gainesville today. Mr. Augustin is in the custody of the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office in Ohio. The Hall County Sheriff's Office will also bring charges against Mr. Augustin after we consult with our local district attorney's office. Again, the safe recovery of Maria is great news. Our investigators and our law enforcement partners, including the GBI and the FBI, are to be commended. Our community has been constant with their support, and I appreciate all that has been done in the last 2 months. Our investigation is ongoing, and our hope is to share additional information in the days to come. I don't have a specific timeline for those additional details, but we'll give them out as soon as we can. I can't let this moment go without imploring our parents, grandparents, and guardians to watch over their children very closely. Technology is a wonderful thing. It helped us locate Maria, but also technology can also be used for evil. It's why Maria was able to leave Gainesville with a stranger and travel 9 hours away from home. So please know what your children are doing and who they're communicating with. They're our most vulnerable and our most valuable citizens, and it's our duty to take care of them. So thank you. Now I'll take a few questions.
Sheriff Courtney Francisco with Channel 2.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know, what's this guy's history, Antonio, and how concerning is it that she was able to get in touch with him, and do you think that he's been with other children?
As far as his history, that's still to be determined. This is real fresh and ongoing. I look forward to having those same answers to those questions. And it is so easy these days for kids to get online and communicate with so many different people. And, you know, it's really scary to think that, you know, there are people out there that will prey on children. And you know, she sought to leave home, and this person came and got her.
Does she go back home now when she's done with her wellness check? And what was her reaction? How was she doing? And I know she didn't want to come home, so talk about that.
Well, it's one of those things where we will have to determine with the Department of Family and Children Services and the court system what's in her best interest. So again, that's something that's still fresh, and we look to have an answer for you on that very soon. But everything will be in her best interest.
Sheriff Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
Yes, sir.
What at this time is Mr. Augustin charged with?
Well, of course, you know, he took a child, a 12-year-old child, across state lines, so he can face several felony charges. And again, we'll need to consult with the DA's office here to see what those additional charges will be here in Hall County and in Georgia. Of course, the Ohio authorities would have some other charges too, with interference with custody and so forth. So he could face several felonies in both states.
Sure.
Very serious.
How old is he, Augusto? How old is he?
How old is he? What?
The suspect.
Yes, he is. Yes.
How old is he? How old is he?
He is 31 years old, and he lives in a residence in Dover, Ohio. But other than that, I don't know any more information about him. They were still looking into that earlier this morning.
Sheriff Couch, Nick Watson, Gainesville Times. Are there
Yes.
any other adults that are possibly facing charges or are under suspicion by law enforcement?
Not to my knowledge, no. Not at this time. You know, as the case goes forward, you know, there could be. You know, I wouldn't rule that out, but at this moment, I don't know of any. No.
Sheriff, Tyler Finger with Fox 5. How lucky are you guys to be able to find her safely? Because in a lot of situations when 2 months pass by, this circumstance could have been totally different.
It could have been. You know, given the fact, you know, that she was 12 years old. I mean, she's a child. And to, you know, for her to be able to put herself out there, and there's folks that will prey, you know, on children, and that's what happened in this situation. So we're very fortunate that we were able to locate her. I'm going to tell you, our investigators did a tremendous job and stayed on this case night and day to locate her. And that's something we're very fortunate for.
Do you know how long the two had been communicating online?
For quite some time, I think. She had been communicating with some other individuals online and as well. So that's what, you know, trying to go through all those different communications, and that's why we went through several states in trying to locate who she may be with. And this one panned out, and we were very successful. So we're very thankful for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, about two more questions.
Yeah, two more. Yes.
Erica Murphy with 11 Alive News.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
hearing from some people that were engaged in helping to search for Maria that they were advised by the GBI to not to drive their own personal cars and coming to the press conference today or to do any searching for her, and that there was some kind of extortion involved with this case. Can you speak to that at all?
Extortion. I'm not familiar with that at all. No.
What do you?
That's news to me, so I hadn't heard that. Yeah.
What about the telling of people who were helping with the search and engaged with that not to drive their own personal cars because of their safety?
We haven't put out any kind of warning like that about driving their personal cars. I'm unfamiliar with that. Yeah.
Sheriff Couch, I know there's been a lot of people in Gainesville that have obviously put a lot of effort into trying to get the word out about Maria's disappearance. I know that there's been banners and, you know, billboards and all of that stuff, and I know that there were also some people who pitched in with the reward. What is your message just to the community of Gainesville after all the stuff that's been going on over the last couple of months?
Simple. Thank you. You know, we live in a very caring community, a very loving community. We've seen that time and time again when we've had tragedy that has happened here. And the way the community responded here was tremendous. and we're very thankful for that. With the posters and the billboards and all the efforts that was put out there, I think it raises awareness that of how we do need to protect our children and look out for them, especially with internet safety. I can't stress that enough. And also, it's we are a community that believes in prayer, and I do. And so I think all the prayers and things that people did helped us in this situation. So I'm very grateful.
What happens to the reward money now?
Well, with this, actually, Maria, her communication with her father led to her own location, so she will not be getting the reward, of course, but that was one thing that a lot of folks stepped forward. I had phone call after phone call from business leaders in town offering their support, and so again, it goes back to your question about the community. There was such an outpouring of love and concern, and that's very heartwarming. You don't see that a lot of parts of the country these days, so very fortunate. I'm sorry?
Do they get their money?
Well, actually, they pledged the money. We never collected it. It was one of those things where, if and when we determined that there was an individual that located her, then we would, call those individuals to write checks, basically, for that.
Sheriff, just
Okay.
one more question, and that is, I'm also hearing that the department did not notify Maria's dad when you found her. You put it out on social media first. Can you speak to that?
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect. The lead investigator contacted her father last night, or yesterday, rather. So, yeah, that's incorrect. Okay. All right.
That's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No one else.
Como decía, era recién en la rueda de prensa que básicamente la niña fue encontrada ayer y ella misma le avisó a su papá que estaba en el estado de batalla, pues que estaba acompañada de un hombre adulto de 32 años, que tenía mayor de edad. Este hombre ya está arrestado. Va a enfrentar
Buenas tardes a todos. Si tienen algunas preguntas en español, yo estoy
conferencia en español.
muy contento en poderle ayudar, ¿ok?
Sir, so we have
Tenemos unas preguntas.
¿Estoy en tu chat? ¿Te aparezco ahí? ¿No? Ok, gracias.
Little fuzzy one there.
Voy a hacer lo mismo. Espérame.
De traductor, ¿ok?
¿Se puede decir, por favor, las condiciones en que encontraron a la niña? Ayer dijeron en un comunicado de prensa de manera escueta que está bien, pero ¿hay algo más que se pueda agregar ahora?
Sure, they want to know like how was her health conditions when she was located.
Well, she's in good health. We were able to take her to a local medical center to have her medically checked out, make sure she was good, and she is. She's fine.
Ella está en una buena salud. Nosotros la llevamos a un hospital y nos aseguramos que ella está bien, ella está en buena salud.
El sheriff mencionó que la niña se sentía unhappy, que no se siente feliz, que no se siente cómoda. ¿Esto podría ser determinante para que ella no vuelva a su casa, a propiedad en su hogar con su papá?
Muy buena pregunta. She mentioned, sorry, that you stated that she was unhappy, and she wants to know if that's a factor for her not to go back home, and is that a determining factor to decide if she's going to go home or not?
What Maria tells us, of course, in further interviews will be helpful to determine, where we might need to have placement. So again, that's, we're looking way into the future of what that answer will be after we consult with the Department of Family and Children Services, of course, and see what's in her best interest. But that's yet to be determined.
Él dice que sí, que eso es algo que se toma en consideración para determinar si ella va a estar segura en su casa, pero estamos trabajando con otras entidades, con el Departamento de Niños y Familias para determinar qué va a suceder con ella.
Sí, yo tengo varias preguntas que hemos ido preguntando, valga la redundancia, a lo largo de toda esta investigación y quisiera hoy, con este día tan feliz, si usted pudiera gentilmente respondernos. Son varias.
She was like, I have several questions. I know it's a happy day for everybody here, and I just would like to respectfully ask if you can answer some of those questions for me.
Okay, maybe. We'll see if we can.
Él dice que tal vez.
We'll see what the questions are.
La primera es, ¿podemos decir que María se fue de casa por propia voluntad?
So the first question would be okay to say that she left her house on her own will.
Yes, she did. She had been, conversing with this man in Ohio on the internet for, a period of time, and so she made arrangements, in that communication with him to leave Gainesville. So yes. But again, I'll stress the fact she's 12 and she can't really make those decisions.
El alguacil dice que sí, que nosotros hemos podido determinar debido a la comunicación seguida que ella ha tenido con ese individuo de que sí, que ella salió en su voluntad, pero que es bueno resaltar que ella tiene 12 años y que eso es algo muy importante en reconocer.
La segunda pregunta, ¿algún familiar que vivía con ella es responsable de su desaparición?
So my second question to you would be if there's a family member involved with her being missing, you know?
No, not to our knowledge. We've been talking with everybody that lived at the house, including the father, for some time. We've spoken with the mother, who is still in Guatemala, so there's no indication that any of the family knew her whereabouts or was involved in her leaving right now. So it appears that there was just a communication with this man in Ohio.
En este momento la investigación ha indicado de que no hay ningún familiar envuelto, ¿no? O que tenga que ver una responsabilidad con ella desapareciéndose, que solamente es el individuo que está en Dover, Ohio. Y lo siento mucho, pero tenemos dos preguntas más, ¿ok? Dos más, ¿ok?
¿Quién es la persona que la tenía? Si irá a la cárcel y cómo contactó con ella.
So lastly, she was like, who was the person that had custody of her and if he was going to jail?
Will he go? Yes. He will have faced charges both here in Georgia and also in Ohio. Currently, he's in the custody of the sheriff's office in Ohio. He's in jail.
Sí, él está ahora mismo en custodia y él va a enfrentar cargos, sí.
¿Pudiera decir quién es?
La persona, el nombre de él es Antonio Agustín, de 31 años. Y una sola pregunta más, ¿ok?
Alguacil, ¿qué mensaje le puede dar a nuestra comunidad para evitar situaciones como estas a futuro?
He wants to know, Sheriff, what message do you have to our community so we can avoid these type of situations in the future?
Be very mindful of what your children are doing. As I said earlier, pay attention to especially their online communication, because there's so many dangers out there now, and to teach internet safety. In fact, our sheriff's office, we have a class here that we can actually, teach folks what to look out for. So I would encourage that, but just be mindful of what your children are doing. Really pay attention.
Nuestro alguacil dice que hay que monitorear a nuestros hijos, hay que tener mucha precaución. Él dice que nosotros ofrecemos programas para educar a la comunidad en cómo es ser proactivo y en cómo estar monitoreando a nuestros hijos.
¿El papá de María cooperó con la investigación?
La última, ¿ok? Por favor. He wants to know if the dad was helpful throughout the investigation.
Yes, he was. He was helpful. Yeah.
Sí, él no ayudó en la investigación. Y no más preguntas. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
This lady had one more question.
Thank you very much. I wanted to know, is there any indication that this gentleman has done this before, or does he have any kind of record or anything like that?
Well, we were asked earlier about that very question, and that's still to be determined. They'll check out his record and all that. So this is really fresh. Okay. And so eventually we'll be able to tell you all those answers, but we don't have them right at the moment. I don't. So.
Thank you so much.
Well, I will. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
Gracias por la traducción.
Un placer, ¿ok? Gracias.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I appreciate it, Sheriff. Good to see you
I'll let you
again.
have
Long
some
time,
things.
long time.
I'll let you go.
Great news today, Sheriff.
Yes, very
That's good. We are happy for that. We are happy.
Thank
Good
you.
job, good job.
Very possible that they.
Sheriff, we appreciate
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm with Mal Habersham, and I really appreciate you. I was wondering if I could just get a